generation didn't quite understand. So there were many times when in our households and in our schools, it bled into the school. And so, and especially when the kids would get older in junior high and high school, they were so turned off by education because it wasn't supported. It wasn't deemed important in their household. And so you could see that the difference between those types of kids in the school. So I think it's not fair to put it all on the schools. You know, I don't want to say that because there's
let me be clear. I'm not putting it. Let me be clear. I'm not putting it all on the schools. Just make sure. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. The books are there. The information is there. Teachers, God bless them, you know, are doing their best. So I'm not putting it all on schools or on teachers. I'm putting it on society, all of us. Everything from the things that happen to that child when they're at home to things that might happen at school, because you know every school ain't the same. Some schools, kids are fighting, they spend more time fighting off bullies than they spend trying to actually learn. I'm not saying it's the teachers or any. I'm saying it's us. It's on us to say let's move our kids away from all the things that are not getting them where they need to be. Like I'm talking about consciousness. We use the word consciousness a lot, but consciousness means just having clarity on what you want to happen instead of letting things happen on autopilot. I think we let our kids get raised on autopilot. Okay, I send them to school every day. They're going to grow up and then one day they're going to go get a job and blah, blah, blah. No, you have to have consciousness. You have to drive the car in the direction that you want them to go. So if you want your child to be financially secure, then what conscious things are you doing right now to ensure your child will be financially secure? I've shared with y'all a million times the $5 a day investing program. It's right there on boycewatkins.com. If you do that one thing for your child, and you just invest $35 a week on autopilot I'll even tell you what to invest in. Vanguard has an S&P 500 index fund. The ticker symbol is VOO. It will put your money in the top 500 companies in America. All you got to do is put about $35 a week in there on autopilot per child and never sell those stocks. Never sell them. That's your child's escape plan. That's how they're going to buy themselves out of slavery. If you do that, your child will never, ever, 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 ever have to work for anybody unless they just do something really ridiculously stupid with the money, right? I kid you not. Little things. So what are you doing to prepare your kids? Go ahead. It seemed like you have more to say, and I didn't mean to cut you off there. I just want to make sure you didn't think I was blank, because I know you come from a family of teachers. Your daddy, Dr. Taylor, God bless him. He was a college professor down at Tuskegee. Your mama was a teacher, and I love them both. So no, this is not about the teachers. It's about us consciously making the right choices. So go ahead, please.
Yeah, and I like what you say when you say consciousness. It comes across more as mindfulness. Like paying attention to what we say and I think the example that we set for our families and the things that we do today. I mean, I really do. I mean, to take out time on your Saturday evening to listen to me and you go back and forth about these really important ideas. I mean, it says a lot about the dedication that it takes, because we're competing with the Grammys. The Grammys are going on right now. We're competing against Beyonce. We can't beat Beyonce. She's going to be racking up the awards tonight, and Lizzo and all this. We're not, I do want to see, they're going to do a tribute to Stevie Wonder. I'd like to see that. But but we're competing against all these.
You always trying to mess with me by bringing up Lizzo, don't you?
I know I did.
I know my kids got mad at me, but you know, when I said it's not healthy to promote obesity and just the bad image of Black women, and people, you know, white media accused me of attacking a Black woman, and I said, no, I'm not attacking a Black woman, defending Black women. I think Lizzo is very talented. I think that she, you have overweight white singers that can just sing and perform and show their talent. I don't think that the Black woman has to fulfill stereotypes in order to impress white people. And that, again, that's another economic trap that we end up in, is that so many of our people end up honoring the circus. We end up selling our kids to the circus so they can make money entertaining white folks. And I'm not about none of that. I believe, I have to have an issue with the idea of somebody making billions of dollars presenting the Black man and the Black woman as a whore and a thug. And then we wonder why everybody thinks we're whores and thugs. Well, because if that's the predominant image of you that's being sent to the world, then what do you think people are going to treat you like? And like when I was sitting with those 3 airline pilots at UPS, senior captains, they were training the new pilots that come to UPS. They were training these guys. That's how good they were. I said, you guys will never be seen on TV, because in their mind, they don't even think you exist. They think who you are is unrealistic. And I think that's a problem. I think we got to challenge that.
It's a problem, but honestly, I'm okay. I have come to the conclusion that I'm just going to be okay with the fact that television is just not going to portray us in the way that we want to be portrayed. Maybe the revolution won't be televised. maybe people don't need to know that we meet on Sunday nights, and maybe that shouldn't be televised, because all they're going to do is mess it up, infiltrate and really mess it up. So maybe it's a good thing. Maybe this sort of movement is not to be discussed openly. We just do it. We just doing it, and then one day we pop up and all of us, don't really care anymore.
Well, you know what? Let's jump in and answer a few questions. Though Z has a question. Says, what was the opening discussion about fasting? What type of fast was being referenced? Do you know what type of fast it was called?
Okay, can I say something? I love fasting. At the All Black National Convention, there was a guy there named Dr. Eric Prince, and I just finished his fast. I did his 21-day fast. You know what? It wasn't so bad. I think the thing that got me, I will do it again. I think the thing that got me was those salads every day. I just got to the point where I was like, I can't, by the 3rd week, I was like, I can't eat another salad. I think the salads really kind of did me in. So I think if I did that again, I would like maybe eat a salad for lunch and then eat something vegan. It has to be vegan, raw vegan, no meat and all of that. So if I come up with a different meal for dinner, it would be better. But it was a wonderful fast. I highly recommend it, and I was never hungry. So that was the great part about that fast. I also did Queen Afua's fast. I did her fast last year, and I liked her fast, but it was a lot of food that you eat in her fast. So that was also pretty interesting. So I like Queen Afua's fast. I like Eric Prince fast was really nice, and it led up to my spiritual retreat. Now this fast, we saw it on television. Oh, was it on Hulu? Can't remember if it was on Hulu. It's the guy from those Marvel films that played. I can't remember his name, but anyway, he did a 4-day no food fast. He did not eat for 4 days, and that's gonna take it.
Yeah. Well, it's he did 4 days with just water, and I was actually inspired by it. Yeah, I was inspired by it enough that I actually said I want to try it. 4 days without food is going to be tough, but I actually feel like it'll be interesting. I'd like to just see how it feels, because I definitely I want to do something different. I think that when it comes to health and wealth, really health, wealth, and relationships in those 3 areas, I encourage anybody who wants to be in a good space at some point to just look at what society's doing and don't do exactly what society's doing. In relationships, a lot of relationships are bad, or a lot of them fall apart for various reasons. Health-wise, people getting sick and fat and old, diabetes everywhere, heart disease everywhere, especially in the Black community. And then in terms of wealth, you'll get more support if you're talking about being broke than you'll get if you talk about ways to actually not be broke. And so I think you guys are different. And the reason I know you're different is because just think about it right now. A lot of people, clearly would rather watch the Grammys and watch their favorite celebrity, because that's opiate for the masses, right? That's more interesting than actually making a plan for your life and preparing. So I commend you, and I want to encourage you, because the fact that you're doing things that are different is going to lead to a different outcome. And you're talking to my wife and I are both different people. Most of what we did in our lives to even get to where we are, not to put us on any sort of pedestal, but to get to where we are, we literally 90% of what we did was different from everybody else. I mean, I didn't meet my wife in the club. I met my wife in the library. we were studying. The first night we met, we were studying together, and And I just think that some of the stuff that's out here is unfortunate. And I like to share it, not because I'm trying to get the whole world to change their mind, but because I want to encourage those of you that are looking around and saying, "Gosh, this is a little different. Like this, or I don't want to fit into this, or don't let anybody make you feel like you're weird. Be proud of who you are." Now, I see a question here. Do you want me to read the question? Did you have something to say, babe?
I love that. And I just want to say, when you said be comfortable who you are, I just want to say that what I think we demonstrate is that this is another version of who we are. You know, if you met your partner in the club and you like to kick it and have fun and party, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's not, I don't feel like because we met in the library and people who met at the club, we're better than them. It's not that we're better. It's just that as Black people, we just there's a range of us. Like, you know, it's not one way, it's not the way of doing it. Like our normal, it should be accepted as well. And going to the clubs and stuff, that's fine. I'm not going to judge that. So
yeah, and it's not even my job to judge. And I'll judge it to the extent that I'll talk about what I think is going to work and what I think isn't going to work. You know, like I really think that we have to have space for critical analysis. Like for example, you know, the way you have a rapper that dies every single week. I think that a smart person is going to look at that culture and say, what's going on with this culture? You and I saw today that the number of Black men who are dying from drug overdoses has tripled in the last 6 years. It's tripled. Well, the reason it's tripled is because they're marketing drugs to young Black people. Like they're literally the most persuasive, most impactful form of marketing and influence is hip hop music. Music is the greatest form of influence on a young Black child. So when they're putting drugs in the music, and then a guy like me, I sound old fashioned when I say, I don't think you want to sit around and get high all day. You know, oh, you ain't with it. You ain't cool no more. Okay, well, go on and be cool. Next thing you know, you're 26 and you're either dead or in prison, or you are, or you're fighting a drug addiction, or your brain is fried. And then you look at people who made a different choice and you say, oh, you don't know what it's like to be in the struggle. You don't know what it's like, your life wasn't like mine. No, it wasn't, but I made different choices. People that make, and I don't think anybody has to be elitist about it, but you got to use common sense, and so I'm not surprised that think about this. These are these kids are your future. The most valuable asset you have in the Black community is your young people, and they are destroying your young people, and you got to fight that.
I was really taken back by that NPR report about Black men in particular. And I think it's just all sorts of addictions is really killing everybody. And, I always look at, as a therapist, I'm always looking like, what are they not connecting with? What are they not connecting with in themselves? Because all of us, Boyce, me and you, we grew up with all that ratchet, right? Rap music. We don't use drugs. And so what did we do with how we felt when we were little? Like, what did we do with our feelings? Did we connect with them? Because all sorts of things happen to you and you have to be able to connect with how you felt about that. And that's it, and so instead of avoiding it through anxiety and defense mechanisms and all of those things, so connecting with that is a great way not to fall for those addictions. And so those are unhealthy addictions, substance and drugs and alcohol and so forth. Those are unhealthy addictions, but a lot of the things that men do to deal with the fact that they're not dealing with how they feel about things, because they were talking about male culture, how we live in a society that discourages men from connecting with who and what they are. And so as a result, they bury themselves, and sometimes they can bury themselves in their work. They can bury themselves in exercise. They can bury themselves in all these other things that's quote unquote acceptable, but it's what's driving it. So when I look at it, I see it holistically as the Black men in this society right now are up against it. And I'm really proud. I have a lot of Black men in my office, Boyce. It is really an honor to be able to listen to them and to talk to them about what's uniquely happening to them, and trying to get everything off their chest. The things that they're carrying around that they feel like they don't feel comfortable talking about, they need a safe space to get things off their chest so that they're not killing themselves.
Well, okay. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to depress anybody, but why don't we jump in and answer your questions? If you have a question, you're in the Zoom chat, put it in the Q&A section and I'll answer it there. Somebody says, how can I educate my child on financial literacy if my child does not live with me? And when I do spend time with them, I try and educate, but don't want to be overwhelming with it. Did you want to answer that first? I have a response, but I'll let you answer first if you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, I think you teach by your behavior. And, sometimes when you're doing things that's fine, when they are in your presence and you're doing things in the direction of making financial choices, just talk about it out loud. Yeah, that's one thing my parents did. My dad I would be at the grocery store and my dad would do stuff like, he would make me add every time I went to the grocery store with him, for example, he would make me add up and estimate how much the bill was going to be at the end. And he was like, how much do you think this is going to cost us? And I would be like adding up everything and I would be rounding. I think it'll be $150. And then we'd ring it up. So there's different teachable moments. That's just an example of a teachable moments of how in this, my dad, he would ask me questions about, should I buy one, get one free, or should I just get this product? So he would, in our everyday interaction, when we were together, he would ask me questions and let me in on some of the thought decisions that he would make when he was making purchases, when he was refinancing his house, when he was buying stocks. My brother was a stockbroker and he would buy stocks from my brother and he would sit and talk to me about it. So things that he did every day, he would let me in on those conversations. And it was just, I learned by watching him do. So I think that's the best way. I mean, I don't know. I think like preaching to your children, once they see you coming and you start preaching to them, they just like gloss over a little bit like, oh Lord. I try, and I guess there's something to preaching to them, but the best thing to do is to spend time with them, and in spending time with them, kind of like getting to know them and coming up with real teachable moments in the moment. So taking out time to spend time with your children is the best thing you could do for them, because first of all, they feel like they're worthy. Like, oh, my dad is spending time with me, I must be worth something. That's the biggest thing if you want to get into making sound financial decisions, because it's emotional.
Yeah, I think that yeah, my first big thing in terms of influencing kids when it comes to wealth is I agree. I don't think preaching ever works, or forcing them to sit down and go through lessons and stuff like that. I mean, I haven't figured out how to do that effectively, because honestly, it's very stressful, and and I don't know, you could end up making them hate it, and I, at the same time though, I think I always try to figure out, if I'm trying to persuade somebody, I always try to figure out what they want, what is it that you want, and how can I tie what I want for you into what you want for yourself. So when I talk to our youngest about economics and financial security, my first goal with the kids is, number one, I'm going to spend enough time around you and doing my thing that you're going to know who I am and what I represent, and that's going to be a part of who you are, whether you like it or not. Like, pro-Black is a part of our kids. Black wealth is a part of our kids. Like, they've been to the convention. They've just kind of seen me doing my thing. They've heard me yelling and screaming in the podcast, right? So you're not going to walk about this house without knowing, okay, my bonus dad, Boyce, he was downstairs and he was doing something that was pro-Black, and I don't know much about it, but this is the few things I learned. But also with the youngest, when she asked me what I thought she should do when she grows up, I didn't pick a profession. I think we should stop picking professions. Stop training your children for slavery. Stop preparing them to work for other people. I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm not saying that it makes them a loser if they ever do. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that should not be the highest objective. So what I do is I started with something basic. I started with happiness. I said, look, I don't know what you want to do. I can't tell you that, but I want you to be happy. I think we can agree on that. Do you want to be happy? She said, yeah. I said, okay, well, let's talk about what happiness looks like. And then we talked about what it means, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, what it means to pursue your happiness. And then I explained how money fits into that path. I said, a lot of people can't be happy because they don't have enough money to do the things that are going to make them happy. Like being happy might mean taking the day off so you can take a mental health day, and you can't because you got to go. Your boss told you got to be at work by 9 o'clock, Or happiness might mean taking a trip out of the country, for a little while, but you can't do that because you don't have enough money. So I said, happiness, if you are smart, money can be a pathway to break you out of your prison that society designs for you. Capitalism is a prison. It is designed to incarcerate as many people as possible. There's so many traps, student loan traps. This is, the rent trap, the inflation trap. There's so many traps out here. And if you're not smart, and if you don't prepare, if you don't prepare your kids, you might as well call it not even the school to prison pipeline, call it the home to prison pipeline. Like literally, you're preparing your children for capitalist incarceration if you don't sort of do basic things to get them ready. So I said, look, so as your dad, my job, number one, is I'm going to do some things. I'm going to make investments for you so that you have some element of financial security. I said, number two, I'm going to talk to you about having your own business. So because she loves theater, we went to see a play, and I said, you see all those people up there that were saying, I need my job, I need my job. I said, I don't want you to be in that position. I want you to be like Tyler Perry, where people are asking you for a job. I want you to learn how to create your own stuff. And so I think these kinds of conversations where we're talking about what she wants, not what I want. It's like, I always start off by saying, look, I'm not going to tell you what to want, but I know tell me what you want. And then I'll tell you how economics fits into that. And then also just remember, before you correct, you must connect. Also remember, kids watch what you do, not just what you say. And also some basic big picture lessons are enough to kind of start the fire. You don't have to give them like all this detailed information. Just general ideas like you're better off owning a house than you are renting an apartment, or you're better off being the employer than you are being the employee. You're better off being the producer than you are being the consumer. Little basic ideas like that, I think, go a very long way. And then at that point, you can kind of let them off into the world, and just also make sure you invest for them while they're young. Because remember, we don't just waste money, we waste time. I mentioned that to you guys earlier. And where we waste time is, you guys, your child here, and I'm gonna scream it to the top of the rooftops because I don't know if everybody hears this. It is clear to me, but maybe it's because I'm a mathematician, but you don't understand how much Black wealth gets thrown away by wasted time. The fact that you let 18 years go by without investing a nickel for that child. Do you understand how much money you stole from that kid? You stole hundreds of thousands of dollars from that child because you didn't take time to just put $5, $10 a day into some sort of mutual fund. The Vanguard S&P 500 mutual fund, the ticker symbol is VOO. If you sat there right now and did this one thing, this is what will put your child in. I'm gonna stop talking after I say, because I start getting caught up. You don't know how I am, but I gotta say this. If you do this one thing, your child will be in the top 10% of income earners by the time they're 25 to 30 years old. One thing, go to your phone, find VOO, Vanguard's S&P 500 mutual fund, or something just like it. Set it to deposit $35 a week into that fund, and do not sell ever for any reason. $35 per week per child. By the time your child is, if you have a newborn baby, by the time the child is 10, they'll have about $29,000 approximately, based on history. By the time they're 20, they'll have $100,000. By the time they're 30, they'll have $250,000. That will eliminate 90% of the BS that you see, where young people don't have resources, so they're out here doing crazy stuff in order to get money. That's sad. I mean, you see desperation. Like, I think that's a mindset that you see us. We're such a desperate people, and we're desperate. Mr. White Man, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Like, we're so desperate because nobody gave us anything. We're not prepared, and you can't do that to your kids. That's all I got to say. I'm done. Go ahead. It's your turn.
I love that idea, Boyce, because I think that you should show them. You should say, from time to time, because of what the gentleman said is that when my child doesn't live with me, but when they're in my presence, what do I do? And one of the things you can do is say, oh, it's once a month, let's look into this account, see how much money you have now. Look at all the money that I put in here. And I mean, how good do you feel? It's like, wow, my dad really cares about me and he really is thinking about me. And you just have, it's floating around in the back of your head and you carry yourself with so much more confidence. I'm thinking about the psychological effect of knowing that your parent or your dad, non-custodial dad, is still thinking about you and still cares about you, even though you're not with them presently. And so I just think that that's got to make you feel good, you know? So I think that's like a wonderful idea, but it's also a bonding moment between a parent and child, because it's saying, you know, I'm here and I'm investing in you and your future. So I ain't gonna take no mess from nobody. I got $100,000 in the bank.
You make a good point. You make a good point. And sometimes I get extra serious about it, but I think I get serious because I get frustrated sometimes. You know, it's because we have all these, like, you think about it, money causes so many problems for our people. Like, so many people are stressed out about it. You know, people are getting killed over money. You know, kids are out in the street doing only God knows what to get money. And money's not hard to get, but you got to make a plan. You got to prepare, and that's a fact. All right. So let me see here. Monica says, I'm new to investing outside my 401k. I'm struggling with to the beginning of investing, whether stocks, Roth IRA, et cetera. I'm 52, don't know where to begin. What's the recommendation? Where I should start? Well, I gave you one example, that $5 a day investing plan. You can find that at my website, boycewatkins.com. There's also a lecture at boycewatkins.com called How to Make Money Without Working. And that's where I literally show you guys how I make my money through selling stock options and stuff like that. And but in addition to that, if you're in the Prime program, there's plenty of stuff in there. You have access to the Black Stock Market program and things like that. So you can go through some of that material. If you are in the money mindset masterclass, there's plenty of content that we created already. You can just go log in, or if you go to loveandmoneymasterclass.com, I think that's where Dr. Alicia's mindset masterclass is. So you can feel free to go take a look at that. Another way you could start, if you go to firstshareofstock.com, that's a little site I created with basically how to buy your first share of stock in 10 minutes. Okay, so firstshareofstock.com. So feel free to go there too. So those are some places you can get started where we'd like to help you. All right, let's see. Diana says, Dr. Watkins, did you guys come on last Sunday night? Yeah, we were out of town, Diana. We went out to Pasadena, so we didn't make last night. Larry says, what?
We got an email. We got an email notice that class was going on last week.
Did we? Oh no.
Yeah, I meant to tell you. I kept getting emails.
Well, I feel bad. I'm so sorry. Sheesh. Yikes. Well, I'm sorry, everybody. Please forgive me. Forgive us. All right. Let's see here. Okay. What do you think of the Elevate You product by Steve Harvey? I don't know. I haven't heard about an Elevate product. Have you? What is it? I mean, is it a drink? Have you heard about it, Alicia?
What do you think? Do you think I heard about it?
Let me see.
I'm gonna search it over here on my other computer. Elevate You?
Something about daily greens. Greens powder are designed to recharge your batteries, boost natural energy, and support healthy aging. Okay, well.
Okay. Anything that has to do with eating greens is good.
Boosts energy, digestive support, promotes healthy blood flow.
Is he sponsoring this drink or something? He's sponsoring this.
Well, it says on the website, it says Steve Harvey's Elevate You. So I think so, yeah. They've got Vitality Daily Greens for $49. Vitality Greens Chocolate, $49. Vitality Daily Greens Tart Cherry, $49. So I guess it's something that's $49 that you buy and you put it in your drink or something.
All right, Steve Harvey, you got a lot of businesses going on.
Health is wealth. All right, let me see.
$49 for it too. Okay.
Next question.
On for me and you.
Now, somebody says, what do you think about Tyree Nichols' parents using $1.5 million from a GoFundMe to fund a skate park? Well, wasn't Tyree into skating? Wasn't that something that he liked a lot?
They
I mean, if
create
that's the case,
I think that's against it. I think skate parks are like a great way for kids to go out and exercise, spend time with each other, uh, get out the house in a pro-social way. I'm all for it. Any kind of park centered around children is pretty cool. Oh, he loves skateboarding. That's awesome. I think that's really great to turn a tragedy into something that's proactive. So I think